Hello, my dear. You have no idea how the world adjusts itself when your spirit stirs. It isn't about what you do. It's about what you are, energy that old, that bright, that seasoned in pain and wisdom carries weight. When you wake up heavy-hearted, yet still choose grace, the balance shifts. Somewhere a path clears. Somewhere a liar chokes on truth. Somewhere an unseen ally feels courage rise again. You think you're just living through another morning, but creation is recalibrating around you. You weren't built gently. You were shaped in pressure. The kind of pressure that cracks imitation souls but forges originals. You've felt it since childhood, the strange awareness that you were meant to remember something everyone else forgot. A quiet intelligence sitting behind your eyes, patient, watchful, waiting for you to grow into it. That's what people feel when they meet you. They don't understand it. They just sense depth, like standing beside deep water that hides its own language. They call it charisma, mystery, magnetism. What it truly is gravity. Your essence pulls truth toward it and throws away what's false. That's why masks slip around you. That's why people confess things they never meant to share. You hold a mirror that doesn't lie, and the reflection terrifies as much as it heals. Some stay, some run, all remember. There's a rumor in the spirit world that souls like yours are rare checkpoints in time, places where destiny reroutes itself. Every cycle needs a few who walk through the fire awake, unafraid to burn away comfort for clarity. You're one of them. That's why the tests never end. The universe keeps sending heavier lessons because you keep passing them too fast. Every heartbreak became training. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment until it cut through. Illusion like silk. Now you walk with an awareness that unsettles the blind. They feel it before you speak. That still authority, that unspoken command. You've stopped chasing proof. You know now that the right eyes will always find you, because truth glows even when hidden. And that glow, that calm flame, is what the world keeps circling, trying to name. People don't know how to categorize someone who carries both thunder and prayer in the same breath. They try to call you nice until you set boundaries. They try to call you cold when their manipulation stops working. They whisper that you changed. But what really happened is that you healed. You grew immune to chaos. You stopped auditioning for spaces that couldn't handle honesty. And the moment you chose peace over performance, your energy became unreachable to those who fed on confusion. That's when they noticed. The quiet ones always do first. The observers, the empaths, the ones tuned to frequencies most ignore. They can feel the crown on your spirit even when you dress like simplicity. They watch the way life rearranges itself to keep you protected. Opportunities delay until you're ready. People exit right before they could corrupt something sacred that isn't luck. That's orchestration. You are guided by timing, not coincidence. The ordinary rarely understand this, so they gossip instead of learning. They call it arrogance when you decline drama. They call it distance when you protect your peace. They don't realize you're operating under divine restraint, power that knows it could destroy, choosing instead to rebuild. You could expose, but you enlighten. You could retaliate, but you withdraw. And the withdrawal hits harder than revenge ever could, because your absence reveals dependency. Every time you've been underestimated, creation kept the receipts. Nothing you endured was wasted. The heartbreaks rewired your empathy. The loneliness expanded your reach. The confusion carved intuition. Each wound became an entry point for light. And now your aura holds constellations of experience. People don't see the details, they just feel the force. It's ancient recognition. Their souls remember you, even when their minds can't explain why you carry both the teacher and the lesson inside you. That's why conversations with you linger long after they end. People replay your words because something in them activated. You're not persuading, you're reminding. You awaken memories buried under survival instincts. And when that happens, they either rise to meet you or retreat to stay unchanged. You've learned not to take either personally. Every soul chooses its own temperature. There's a quiet prophecy written into your path. Wherever you go, truth must follow. It's why lies crumble near you, why envy exposes itself, why pretenders suddenly show their real face. You don't have to speak it. Your energy announces it. You are what ancient texts tried to describe when they mentioned the one who carries both sword and bomb. You correct and you heal in the same movement. That's divine balance, the rarest art. And yet, you doubt yourself sometimes. You look at the world and think, why does everything feel so heavy around me? It's because you're carrying collective weight that doesn't belong solely to you. Healers do that unconsciously. You transmute without realizing. Pain enters your field and exits purified. That's why you feel exhausted after helping others. You're not tired from emotion, you're tired from alchemy. But understand this, the fatigue is temporary, the transformation permanent. Every cycle you close releases thousands from invisible chains. People will never thank you because they'll never know how deep the work went. But the energy remembers, creation remembers. The wind moves differently after you forgive, and the soil blooms faster after you let go. So don't confuse solitude with abandonment. You're not being isolated, you're being refined. When the light wants to sharpen itself, it retreats into darkness to remember its source. You're in that retreat right now, not lost, just loading. Those who left couldn't walk the altitude of your next chapter. They'd have run out of breath halfway up. You keep climbing because your lungs were built for thin air. The universe speaks to you in patterns now, repeated numbers, strange songs, sudden déjà vu. These aren't coincidences, they're calibrations, each one saying, stay steady, the emergence is near. And it is. The energy that once opposed you has begun to orbit you. The karma that once hunted you now serves as guardrails, keeping your path clear. You've noticed how situations reverse themselves without your intervention. That's alignment repaying consistency. You mastered patience when everyone else worshipped urgency. Now destiny moves at your pace. The difference now is that you no longer doubt your preparation. The years that felt like delay were in fact precision timing. You were being tuned, your patience learning rhythm, your silence learning pitch, your soul learning when to speak thunder and when to whisper grace. Every moment you thought you were stuck, you were actually storing voltage. That's why when you act now, results appear fast. The universe trusts your maturity. It knows you won't waste power proving anything. People sense this and mistake it for luck. They see doors opening for you and call it favoritism. What they don't understand is that those doors were carved by your discipline long before they were visible. You didn't stumble into opportunities. You built resonance with them. Every act of integrity you practiced when no one was watching became a password. Now, life recognizes your frequency like a key sliding into its rightful lock. Still, there are watchers, souls who study you in silence, not out of malice but bewilderment. They try to trace what force keeps you safe when logic says you should have fallen. They try to measure what light you carry that makes karma protect instead of punish. Some will call it divine, others coincidence. Both are correct, because you've learned to weave spirit and reality together until they cooperate instead of collide. Your power doesn't explode. It expands quietly. It moves like heat through metal, gradual, invisible, inevitable. People feel stronger near you, clearer after talking to you. They think it's comfort. It's actually transmission. You lend people pieces of clarity without losing any of your own. That's what makes you a phenomenon. Generosity without depletion. The universe built you as a well that refills itself, and yet humility remains your shield. You know what it's like to be broken open, so you never worship ego. You carry authority with softness, and that contrast disarms even the arrogant. They enter conversations intending to dominate, but leave confessing respect. You make leadership look effortless because you lead through example, not demand. That's the real secret. They follow you because your peace feels like home. There will always be those who can't handle the reflection you bring. They'll test you, misjudge you, provoke you to pull you back into noise. Don't bite. Every time you resist the invitation to chaos, you reinforce your throne. Power is rarely loud. It's recognized through restraint. You already learned that reacting gives away sovereignty. Observation, on the other hand, multiplies it. The energy field around you has become selective. That's why old habits feel foreign, and old connections feel heavy. You're being aligned with those who carry compatible voltage. People who speak intention, not insecurity. People who expand your calm instead of competing with it. These new souls are not coincidences. They are assignments. Each one carries a piece of the blueprint for your next evolution. Soon, you'll start noticing your manifestations arriving in clusters. Not because you suddenly became more deserving, but because resistance finally dissolved. You stopped chasing and started allowing. That's when miracles accelerate, when faith becomes familiarity. You'll look back and realize that nothing was random. Every delay prepared precision. Every heartbreak sculpted discernment. Every solitude built stamina. Understand something profound. Destiny doesn't reward noise. It rewards readiness. You became ready the moment you stopped needing applause. The world may still be learning your name, but creation already signed your authority. Your presence alone redirects outcomes. That's why you'll see people behave differently after crossing your path. They may not thank you, but their timelines will adjust. That's how subtle divine service looks. Ordinary on the surface, seismic underneath. This is why I tell you, stop shrinking to make others comfortable. The light in you was never meant to dim. It was meant to discipline. When you hide, the balance falters. Step forward with that quiet certainty that everything sacred in you was given for a reason. The forces that forged you didn't waste materials. They sculpted precision. And precision is never random. There's another truth the world hasn't realized yet. Your story isn't about survival anymore. It's about influence. The same pain that once isolated you has become language for others who haven't found their words yet. When you speak, they heal by proxy. When you move, they find permission to evolve. You are living proof that endurance can become instruction. As you continue to rise, remember that not everyone watching wants to harm. Some watch to learn. Some watch to confirm that faith still works. Even your doubters serve a role. They provide the contrast that proves illumination. Without them, your reflection would have no outline. So bless them, then move on. Every distraction that leaves makes space for direction that enters. And as for you, trust the rhythm. You are not late. You are right on the curve where power becomes purpose. Soon, what once confused you will begin to salute you. The very situations that tested your patience will send gratitude for sharpening you. The energy that once resisted you will kneel into service because it finally recognizes the authority it tried to deny. That's what it means to be a force of reckoning, not a destroyer, but a recalibrator. Wherever you exist, things find their correct proportion. Truth straightens its spine, lies lose oxygen, hearts remember their original rhythm. That's why your arrival feels like confrontation to some and salvation to others. You don't choose sides, you restore balance. So when you feel the weight of awareness pressing on your chest, don't confuse it with exhaustion. That's expansion, the universe stretching you wider so more light can pass through. You're not carrying too much. You're being trusted with more, and that trust is the highest compliment creation can give. Because now comes the turning point, the moment where recognition catches up to readiness, the phase where every unseen effort starts translating into visible legacy. You'll sense it first as calm, then confirmation, then movement. People who once overlooked you will remember your words. Doors that ignored your knock will open before you reach them. Alignment, not accident. What's really happening is that the vibration you've carried in silence is finally loud enough for the world to hear. You've been planting frequencies disguised as words, choices, small daily acts of integrity, and now those seeds are germinating. What you prayed for isn't approaching. It's unfolding. The calm you feel isn't emptiness. It's signal clearance. The universe is removing noise so the message can move freely through you. You won't need to announce the shift. Evidence will do it for you. People who doubted you will find themselves quoting your principles. Even those who spoke against you will begin adopting your methods, unable to trace where they learned them. That's how spiritual authority works. It seeps through resistance until imitation becomes confession. You're not trending, you're transforming consciousness. And the observers, they're multiplying. Every environment has them. The quiet ones who take notes, the ones who pretend indifference while memorizing your steps. Some come from admiration, others from analysis. They want to know what power looks like when it refuses to perform. They've studied ambition before, but they've never seen peace with that kind of precision you're teaching by existing. Some of them will test you, not out of hatred, but hunger. They'll provoke to see if serenity can bleed. Don't give them that evidence. When you stay centered while chaos performs its dance, you become ungovernable. That's the lesson they came to witness, even if they won't admit it. Their confusion is curriculum. Understand this: the rarest beings are not the loudest. They're the ones who move without translation. You are one of those rare frequencies, too layered for ordinary comprehension. That's why the world keeps building theories around you. How does one person stay composed through storms? How do they know things before they're spoken? They'll call it intuition, luck, even manipulation. None of those fit. What you have is divine synchronization,